Good day everyone! I am Babes Plaza Fundal from Best Ed Filipino 2A, and for today I will discuss about the Republic Act 9262, also known as Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act of 2004. The law was signed by former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo last March 8, 2004. According to her, domestic violence has for a long time been hidden in the homes of affected families. However, its effect on the victims, who are usually women and children, must be not a cause for shame and should not be ignored. The culture of silence must be broken, and domestic violence must be stopped. What is Republic Act 9262? It is a special law, otherwise known as Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act of 2004, or Anti-VAUC, which penalizes as a public crime certain acts of violence against women and children. These acts include physical violence, sexual violence, psychological violence, and economic abuse. These acts are punishable even if committed outside the home. What is violence against women and children, or VAUC, under the law? VAUC refers to any act or series of acts committed by any person against a woman who is his wife, former wife, or against a woman with whom he has a common child, or against her child, whether legitimate, inside or outside family residence, which result in physical, sexual, psychological harm or suffering, or economic abuse. It includes the threats of the above acts: battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. Who are protected by the law? Women and their children. Children means the children of the abused woman, below 18 years old and above, who are incapable of taking care of themselves, including children who are not her biological children but who are under her care. Who is the offender? The following can be held liable for the violation of Republic Act 9262: husband, former husband, present and former boyfriends or live-in partners, those with whom the woman has a common child, has had sexual or dating relationship. Acts of punishable. First, physical violence refers to acts that include bodily physical harm. Second, sexual violence refers to any act which is sexual in nature, committed against a woman or her child. Third is the psychological violence, refers to act or omissions causing or likely to cause mental or emotional suffering of the victim. And last is the economic abuse, refers to an act that make or attempt to make woman financially dependent. What is sexual relations? Sexual relations refer to a single sexual act which may or may not result in bearing of common child. Example, a prostituted woman can avail of the remedies under the law if she is being harassed or abused or publicly humiliated by a man with whom she had a single sexual contact. Physical violence includes physical injuries and prostrated parasite. How is sexual violence committed? Rape, sexual harassment, acts of lasciviousness, treating a woman or her child as a sex object, making demeaning and sexually suggestive remarks, physically attacking the sexual parts of the victim's body, forcing the woman or her child to watch obscene publications, forcing the woman or her child to do incident acts and or make films, forcing the wife and mistress or lover to live in the conjugal home or sleep together with the same room with the abuser, causing or attempting to cause the victim to engage in any sexual activity by force, threat of force, physical or other harm, or threat of physical or other harm or coercion, and prostituting the woman or her child. Psychological violence is committed in the following manner: intimidation, harassment, stalking, damage to property, public ridicule or humiliation, repeated verbal abuse, marital infidelity, causing or allowing the victim to witness the physical, sexual, or psychological abuse of the member of the family to which the victim belongs, causing or allowing the victim to witness pornography in any form, witness abusive injury to pets, unlawful or unwanted deprivation of the right to custody and or visitation to common children. How is economic abuse committed? Economic abuse can be committed in the following manner: withdrawal of financial support or preventing the victim from engaging in any legitimate profession, occupation, business, or activity, except in cases wherein the other spouse, partner, objects are invalid. Serious and moral grounds as defined in the Article 72 of the Family Code. Deprivation or threat of deprivation of financial resources and the rights to the use, the enjoyment of the conjugal, community, or property owned in common. Destroying household property. Controlling the victim's own money or properties or solely controlling the conjugal money or properties. Penalty. What are the penalties imposed for the crime of vowsy? Section 6, Republic Act 9262 provides the following. Penalties: the crime of violence against women and their children under Section 5 hereof shall be punished according to the following rules. A. Acts falling under Section 5. Letter A. Constituting attempted, frustrated, or consummated parricide or murder or homicide shall be punished in accordance with the provision of revised penal code. If this act resulted in mutilation, it shall be punishable in accordance with the revised penal code. Those constituting serious physical injuries shall have the penalty of pression major. Those constituting less serious physical injuries shall be punished by pression correctional, and those constituting slight physical injuries shall be punished by arresto major. Acts falling under Section 5B shall be punished by imprisonment of 2 degrees lower than the prescribed penalty for the consummated crime as specified in the preceding paragraph, but shall in no case be lower than arresto major. A. Acts falling under Section 5, C, and D shall be punished by arresto major. B. Acts falling under Section 5, E shall be punished by prison correctional. C. Acts falling under Section 5, 1 shall be punished by arresto. D. Acts falling under Section 5, G shall be punished by pression major. F. Acts falling under Section 5, H, and Section 5, I shall be punished by pression major. What is the prescriptive period of the vowsy cases? Acts falling under Section 5A to 5.1 shall prescribe in 20 years. Acts falling under Section 5G to 5.1 shall prescribe in 10 years. What is the fine imposed on the offender of vowsy? In addition to imprisonment, the perpetrator shall A. Pay a fine in the amount of not less than 100,000 pesos, but not more than 300,000 pesos. B. Undergo mandatory psychological counseling or psychiatric treatment and shall report compliance to the court. Where can vowsy be filed? The Regional Trial Court or RTC designated as family court shall have original and exclusive jurisdiction over cases of violence against women and their children under Republic Act 9262. In the absence of the court in the place where the offense was committed, the compliant has the option to file the case in the Regional Trial Court where the crime or any of its element was committed. What are the remedies for the victim? She and or her children can request for Barangay Protection Order or BPO, Temporary Protection Order or TPO, Permanent Protection Order or PPO with the court, and file a criminal action for the violation of Republic Act 9262. Battered woman syndrome or woman found with BWS do not incur liability. Protected custody of the abused child by the DSWD even if the absence of PO or IRR. Who may file for the protection orders? Offended party, parents or guardians, ascendants, descendants, collateral relatives within 4th degree, social workers of DSWD or LGUs, police officers, punong barangay or kagawad, lawyer, counselor, therapist, healthcare provider, and at least 2 citizens of the city or municipality who have personal knowledge of the offense. How to apply for the protection order? The application for the protection order must be writing signed and verified under oath by the victim. A standard application form, written in English with translation to the major local languages, shall contain, among others, the following information. A. Name and addresses of the petitioner and respondent. B. Description of the relationships between petitioner and respondent. C. A statement of the circumstances of the abuse. D. Description of the relief requested by petitioner. E. Request for the counsel and reasons for such. F. Request for the waiver of application fees until hearing. And G. An attestation that there is no pending application for the protection order in another court. Barangay Protection Order issued by Punong Barangay or PBX Party. Effective for 15 days only. Ordering perpetrator to desist from committing physical harm or threatening the woman or her child. Prohibiting perpetrator from harassing, annoying, telephoning, contacting or otherwise communicating with the victim survivor, indirectly or directly, or IRR. Kagawad can issue if punong barangay is not available but must include attestation that the punong barangay is not available at that time. Punong barangay or kagawad, law enforcers, and other government agencies shall not mediate or conciliate or influence the victim survivor or petitioner on the protection order to compromise or abandon the relief sought. Temporary Protection Order issued by the court on the day of filing, ex parte, priority over other cases, effective for 30 days and extendable, enforceable anywhere in the Philippines. Violation: fine of 5,000 to 50,000 and imprisonment for 6 months. Permanent Protection Order issued after notice and hearing. Priority over all other proceedings such as election cases. Effective until revoked by the court upon application of the person whose favor and order was issued. Enforceable anywhere in the Philippines. Violation: 5,000 pesos to 50,000 and or imprisonment for 6 months. Violation shall constitute contempt of the court. Battered Woman Syndrome or BWS. BWS scientifically defined pattern of psychological and behavioral symptoms found in women living in the battering relationships as a result of cumulative abuse. Victims with BWS do not incur criminal liability or civil liability. A victim with BWS is not disqualified from having a custody of her children. Perpetrator of woman with BWS shall not have custody. Court shall be assisted by expert psychiatrist or psychologist in the determination of the state of mind of the victim survivor. Duties of barangay officials and law enforcers. Enter the dwelling whether or not a PO has been issued. Confiscate deadly weapon in possession or in a plain view. Transport or escort the victim to safe place or clinic or hospitals. Assist victim in removing personal belongings from the house. To eliminate VAUSI, barangay officials shall undertake an education program on RA 9262, why VAUSI exists, rights and remedies for the victim survivors, duties of the residents and all barangay officials. Also, have a family violence prevention program include peer counseling for men. Support organizing efforts and development programs for women in the community. Prioritize livelihood projects for victim survivors. Involve women on planning and implementation of all programs and projects in the barangay. Anti-VAUSI desk officer who shall coordinate a 24-hour one-stop help desk. All barangay officials, health workers, tanods should undergo gender sensitivity seminars. Handling of VAUSI cases by the barangay officials. Upon receiving information, verify and seek police assistance. Enter the dwelling whether or not PO was issued and ensure safety of the victim survivors. Interview, investigate, and document testimony. Inform victim survivors of their rights and remedies. Records shall be confidential. Right to privacy respected. Arrest perpetrator observing rules on warrantless arrest and confiscate any deadly weapon in the possession of the perpetrator or within plain view. Escort victim survivor to the nearest hospital or available medical facility for treatment and medico-legal examination. Assist in securing medico-legal report. If not arrested, advise perpetrator to leave the house to prevent violence and to go to the barangay center, DSWD, LGU, or NGU, church, or other groups that provide counseling. In case victim survivors are to be placed in shelters, assist in taking their belongings and their transfer. If victim survivor a minor applying for BPO, assist and refer to NGOs, social workers for counseling, temporary shelter, and other support services. Monitor respondents' compliance to BPO. Ensure the safety and continued support during the 15-day period. Assist in filing compliant. Ensure that all pertinent documents forwarded to the law enforcer. Maintain separate logbook which shall be kept confidential. Duties and functions of the PNP, WCPD, or IRR. Investigate, take statement, collect evidence, and etc. Refer to the nearest PNP crime laboratory and or hospital or any medical facilities for medico-legal examination. Ensure, if possible, that the examining physician must be of the named gender as the victim survivors, especially in sexual violence cases.